You don't want to point it at the monitor because that'll make a mirror effect. I got mine for just the whole crowd and stage. I like it that you put colored ribbons on that so you know which one's which. Best, what I mostly suggest is hide one cord over one ribbon so it doesn't try to get tripped over. Yeah. I do that at home. That's what I suggest. Like I do this at home whenever I'm holding it and keep it like that. Stability of yes, like the stability of perfect. You know the costume didn't really get much finish on I saw that last night. I only got the whole. I'm going towards the whole costume. Oh, you have to try to get that understand, like you get it all up like
Hey, thanks everyone for coming to the Q&A for the staff VIPs. We just wanted to make a quick acknowledgement last night and thank everyone for treating that situation as well as it could possibly go. We know it's a very hard situation, but we are very, very impressed with how all of the staff, our volunteers, and just how the entire community treated the entire situation. I guess it's just a trial by fire for us. So here's Tyler. He's going to personally thank some folks.
Also, I just want to let you know, we also made sure that we have additional police on site throughout the rest of this weekend just to ensure everyone's safety. From what we can gather, it was just a false threat made to the police department, but they've assured us that the hotel is safe, that everyone here is okay, and that everything should be smooth going forward. But we're going to have some people around the halls just to make sure everyone's doing all right. And I especially want to thank a few people that were a big help last night. So there was the Marriott next door, of course, that opened their event spaces to us, allow people to stay warm. Huge help from them. We also have Purple Tinker, who's at a table out there, who got 2 suites over the Marriott for people to crash in, got a bunch of food. Davat and Fiora the Tank Girl. Davat's around here somewhere, over there in the corner. He is on our AV team, and he went out and got a ton of cases of water, as well as Fiora the Tank Girl went out to get a bunch of cases of water to hand out to everyone, make sure they stay hydrated. Chalice, who helped with directing people calmly and safely away from the hotel. And let's see. Addison Police Department, of course, for their timely and efficient response, making sure everyone's okay. And of course, all of you guys for all of your patience and understanding last night as we dealt with the situation. And we're going to make sure that you guys all have a great time moving forward. Hey, I mean, they could ruin our sleep, but they can't ruin our fun, as Andy over here said somewhere. And honestly, last night just really goes to show, even when things are bad, even when there are people out there that, you know, want to be hateful, want to try and ruin other people's fun, we come together, we work for each other, and we make this community strong. So thank all of you. All right, so without further ado, I'd like to give it away to Luck Rock, who is going to be your MC for the evening. And take it away, Luck Rock.
Thank you very much. All right, let's get like some energy going in here. Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Let's get this into a positive atmosphere. So, we are here for the question and answer panel with the guests of honor. Do we have note cards? All right, it was taken care. All right, cool. I'm behind then. All right, well then let's just get them out here. First, let's go with our the big man. He has gone from everything from storyboard artist, supervisor, co-director, director, does a little bit of everything. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Big Jim Miller. And next up, we have the queen of theater, film, TV, radio, a little bit of everything. She's everyone's favorite feelings forum leader, as well as the voice of Miss Maine. Please give it up for Ellie Ray!
Yeah.
Woohoo! Love you guys.
She's taking my, that's fine. She can say whatever spot she can have whatever spot she wants. Everyone, Ellie Ray. I don't know where Tony is. Is he back there yet?
I just texted Tony. He'll be here in 5 minutes.
Tony, can I make?
I'm not allowed.
Can we get a microphone on?
That's fine. I can be loud. Tony, I think it's next door finishing up some drawings.
I don't know why they're in my hands. Here you go. Little glow sticks. They're stuck in my hands.
Oh.
When this panel's over, you can get me.
We'll see when he comes in. All right. Well, anyway,
Okay.
so looks like everyone's kind of got some note cards, right? Do we have some volunteers that are going to go around and pick them up? Okay.
Give him the Andy in the green.
We've got Andy's going to come around and pick up your questions. I talk too much. They cut my mic.
too loud.
All right. Well, oh, hey, there we go. All right. So while I start going.
Stop that.
All right. While I start going through the questions, let's just get the easy one out of the way. What was your favorite episode to work on?
Campfire
Yeah.
You're asking me to choose between all my children. Which one is my favorite? I'm really happy with Perfect Pair. I think that came out the closest to what I
Okay. All right. Well, let's just get down to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Get
Do it.
down to it.
Okay.
Get down to it. Get down to it.
Don't make me feel old. I don't even know that song.
This is perfect. First question I have here says to both Big Jim and Ellie. As Rocco is a perfect role model to Yona, what other member of the student six would be the perfect role model of Miss Maine?
Okay, that question makes my head. That's me.
You know about the new kids? at
Yeah, the
school?
new kids at the school,
Okay,
yeah.
so which one of those kids? You got Yona, you got Gallus, you got Gunbar, you got Mulder, you got Silverstream. Did I miss anybody?
So,
Galveston, Texas? Yeah, he's on the show. Gallus. Which one of those would look up to Miss Maine as a mentor?
all of them, come on. All of them would love her. Like, if there's not one specific, they'd all love her.
I think Acellus would probably connect with her the most.
Yeah.
Are you disappointed with my choice?
No. It's all right. Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna jinx us by asking this now instead of later.
No, don't jinx us.
But what is something that people ask you that people don't ask you that you wish they would? What's a good question that no one ever seems to ask?
A good question that no one seems to ask.
How's your day? How are you feeling?
We actually get that. We get that.
I get
fair
that all
one.
the time. People are so loving, generous, kind. The questions they ask are fantastic. My question is, it is.
There you go. It's
My
working.
question would be like, why don't you ask, why don't you guys love yourselves more?
Ah. I thought it would be like,
'Cause
who are you
always
wearing?
Love, you always love I know, right? Like, but it's more about you than it is about me. So I'd rather you ask questions about you, because I'm only here because of it's all about you guys, right?
I feel like I need to make
Every
joke
moment.
answers because you had like such serious and nice answers. I'd be like, everyone would be like, how do I become a fashion style icon like you, Big Jim?
Oh, like I'm a big fashion
You're
iconista.
more fashionable than
I'm
me.
wearing my pajamas.
I'm wearing all gray today, I realized.
I've got on my flannelette pajamas underneath my skirt, so I don't know how fashiony that is. Hey, it's fine. I'm right
There you
there,
go.
right there. Awesome, love you.
All right, this question is for both of you. What was the funniest thing that has happened to you while working with the show? Or just the first thing that comes to mind?
I don't know if some of those stories are appropriate.
Tabitha farted.
Which time? Which time?
It just makes me laugh every single time. No pineapple. No can have
She
pineapple.
does the best belches
The
in the
gas
voice
is
records.
just beyond the gas. Oh, no, and the falling down
Yeah.
with the laughter, because
Yeah.
it's always right before you have to do a line.
Of course, she sabotages you.
And she does it on purpose.
I think it's to make her performance better.
I know.
Like she's trying to bring everyone down. So that
She's
she
the
can
accordion of gas.
shine.
It's awesome. She's fun to record with. Very, very, very. It's so much laughter. So much.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, I have a question here. My guess is it's for Jim. Was Cozy Glow inspired at all by someone from Cats Don't Dance?
I get that a lot, but she was inspired by Shirley Temple, which inspired Darla Dimples. So our references could go back even further, and a little bit of Baby Doll from Batman the Animated Series. Yeah. Voiced by the great Lorraine Newman.
Yeah, Lorraine Newman.
So I mean, it's a little bit of everything.
Very cool, very cool. This question comes from Daxter, who is 7 years old.
Stand up, Dexter.
Dexter, where's Dexter? Woo! Is Dexter here?
Yeah, Dexter.
Hi, Dexter.
And he wants to know, do you guys like video games?
Heck yes. What was I playing? I've been playing Spider-Man on PS4. Pretty fun. Before that, I played Red Dead 2. That was real fun. I don't play often, but I
I'm
like.
terrible at them.
Just lie. Just lie.
I try, but I'm just, my friends are like, get out of here.
Tell me you like Cupid.
I like Hubert.
There you go.
I voice.
What is the video game you voice for?
I just did one for Ubisoft. I've got an NDA signed on
Oh,
that, but
okay.
it's coming out, and you're gonna love it.
There you go. That's pretty
I'll
cool.
probably be able to let you know in
A year?
a month and a half.
Oh, a month and a half? That's soon. Wow.
Okay, we got a question for Ellie. Was there a character that you voiced that put a strain on your voice? Was there anyone particularly challenging to?
Yeah, I mean, not that you guys would probably know because we're in the United States, but in Canada, this was more a commercial, believe it or not. It was a 5-year campaign for Nicorette. Do you guys know what Nicorette is? The no-smoking aid? It's a no-smoking gum and pill if you're trying to quit smoking. And they had this, what was called I can't even remember his name, but he was a little monster, and it started out with this woman smoking, and then she kind of morphed into this really short little monster, because that is what the addiction is in smoking. It takes over the person who's a cigarette smoker. And so they hired me for the voice of it, but they wanted, like, what's his name from Hairspray? Bobby Firestone, sort of like that, right? So I had to do the worst throat bleeding horror show for that character, for Nicorette Gum, for 5 years, and they couldn't believe that it was a woman doing that voice. So they'd make me do.
Did you have to transition from the nice lady into the
In the
into
original
beast?
one, but then I was
then you
just
were
him.
only
Like all you
okay.
ever saw after that was the guy. So it was
Right.
like very bizarre. And that I did, I literally I wouldn't be able to work for a couple of days after I did a record. And it was a 5-year campaign, and it was a huge international campaign. So yeah, the monsters and creatures from, like when you do any of those kind of monstrous characters or aliens or creatures for gaming and stuff like that, it can put a real strain on your voice.
How long when you do a Nicorette commercial, is that just one take, or does that
Well, they
take
get
a while?
excited because they can't believe that you're making that sound, so they're like, oh, let's do a whole bunch of takes. And the deal is you can only do it for so long, and your voice, then your vocal cords say, I can't do it anymore. That's about it. But they're so excited that they're hearing a sound come out of a girl that sounds like, a creature from the Black Lagoon. They just want you to keep doing it, and at a certain point, they just go on strike. Your vocal cords say, and it doesn't matter how strong your support system is if you're, really pushing your vocal cords. And like in Vancouver and whatnot, if you're voicing all day, every day, it would be like clapping your hands like this all day long. You're eventually going to get calluses from just putting your hands together, and that's what essentially your vocal cords are doing when you play characters. So if you're singing a song, like if you're in a show where you've got to sing a lot of songs and you've got to play a lot of characters, like I just played Bubbles Beater Bomb in a Cat in the Hat movie, and that was a lot of singing and really kind of wild, outrageous stuff, and it wasn't like a difficult voice to do, but because you're doing 4 hours straight of, your voice gets tired. Tony?
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony, please! Cool. Okay,
No,
we're still going.
we're still here.
We're still here. All right. Dylan A wants to know, why did you consider being a part of this community in the first place? Well, everyone. Or more specifically, why come to the conventions? Why
Why not?
interact?
Are
Yeah,
you kidding? This is
we were
the
invited.
best place ever. You guys are the most incredible fandom. We were talking about this before. I've done like hundreds and hundreds of shows, and there is nothing like the My Little Pony fandom. There is nothing like the ponies that you guys are. You have made such an incredible community connected with the show. I've never experienced anything like it in 40 years of working in this industry. I have never witnessed anything like it, and I doubt I will ever witness anything quite like it again. So I think every person in the world should be on My Little Pony and be a part of the fandom, because you guys are off the charts. Like, you really have to understand what an incredible, incredible community you are, and what an incredible service you give to all of us who work on the show. You make it possible for us to do what we do, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because it's really a beautiful thing.
I don't know if this works clearly. Like, we've all worked on all kinds of other stuff, but there's, like, you know, I've drawn like Garfield and Miraculous.
What are the Garfield cons like?
Yeah, there's no Garfield convention. There's no Miraculous convention. There's no, you know. I mean, there are comic book conventions, so when I draw comic books, I can go to those. But like, it's not the same. Like, they all like a million different things. You guys are just here because you like this one thing, so that makes it real special, because we're all sort of here for the same thing.
And it's international, you guys. Like, it's like in every single country that I've been in for this fandom, it's like astounding. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by the community. It's overwhelming. It really is a wave.
You know, I went to Bali. They did not care at all. Nobody in Bali likes My Little Pony.
Bob.
Everywhere else, though.
Gotta change Bali.
We'll get there.
For me, it's just nice that, you know, we work in these dark rooms making the show for so long that it's nice to come and actually have time to talk to people face to face and remind myself why the show is important to everyone, and hear your individual stories and what connects with you and what doesn't, and it's always really cool to find out that it's never the same for anyone. Like, some people say, oh, this episode's the worst, but then I'll meet someone who will say, that episode's actually my favorite. Like, there's no consensus on that, which is really unusual, and I love that about coming to these shows, is just talking to you guys personally and getting to know who you are and why the show is so special to you. That's important to me.
Yeah, everybody is here for the same thing, but they all come from a different, you know, their own place, so that they each have, like, you know, something that one person didn't care about at all could mean the whole world to a different person. Great.
And the generosity, I mean, like, you're giving me all kinds of things. Like, I'm thinking, what? I've already got, just by being in the show, it's already a gift. And then you come and you meet all kinds of fans, and your generosity is off the charts. Like, you are special. I'm telling you, you are really incredibly generous and
All right, well, we lost Tony. So
Tony's making a shake, he just didn't want to do it in the microphone.
To Ellie Ray, what was your inspiration to becoming a voice actress?
You know, I think I came out of the womb being a voice actor. I think I was singing when I came out. So, I mean, I've always had a dream of being able to communicate with my world and to storytell. And I was talking about this a little bit yesterday for anybody who was at the storytelling event last night. I think we all long to sit around fires singing and dancing and sharing fable. It's what brings us together. And being a voice actor is just an extension of any kind of storytelling. It's just 7 inches from a microphone. That's the difference. So you're not on a film camera and you're not on a stage, you're actually at a microphone, but it basically is storytelling. The only reason we open our mouths to speak, no matter what the genre of storytelling is for an audience. And I think we all want to reach out to one another and know that we are heard. We're actually listened to. So part of storytelling is response-driven dialogue, which is, you know, what helps us all become better because of the stories we tell. And I think that is a part of our nature, every single one of us. It's why you guys love watching the show. It's why I love watching the show and being able to partake in the show so that I can connect to you guys. I think that came at a very, very early age. I wanted to reach out. It's like kind of like, you know, any kind of community situation where you come together, whether it's church or whether it's a fandom or whether we belong together. We belong to each other, and we want to share in stories that help make us better as beings on this planet. And I think I wanted to really partake in that for as long as I can remember. For as long as you know, when I was little, I was always performing. I didn't know why. I thought I was like some kind of big star in my own mind. As I was little, I would make up stories and entertain, you know, my neighborhood. And I'd sing songs and do magic acts and that sort of thing. But I think we all sort of long to do that with each other. We all just want to hang out and tell each other stories, and I think we should, and it's what makes us whole.
Thank you. We've got a couple questions that a lot of people are wondering. If you didn't do voice acting or media production or drawing, what do you think you would be doing instead?
Good question.
Whoever knows first.
I'd be a veterinarian. I want to work with, I love animals, and I would probably be a marine biologist, a veterinarian. I'd be saving elephants, and I'd be doing.
They're not marine based.
No, but it doesn't matter. I'm saying marine whales. It doesn't matter. Any kind of animal, I'd probably go be working with.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm qualified to do anything else. I mean, I was in university for biology before I dropped out to go to animation school. I don't know if I would even like to do that now if I had to change.
I could drive Uber, probably. I used to work at McDonald's. I could go back there. I think they said I could come back as a trainer, shift manager. I always, whenever I would get frustrated being like back when I was a starving artist, I was like, I should have worked at a bank, man. Those people, they seem to have a great situation.
They get paid vacations?
Yeah. They go
Yeah.
home at
That's the
5.
way to go.
Yeah, I would work at a bank, I think.
They get to retire.
Yeah. Oh, now we're all wistful about all the bad decisions we made.
So if all three of you had to do a different job for the show, other than your current role, what would be most exciting to you?
Again, I spend so much time convincing people that I actually know what I'm doing at the job I have when I really don't. I don't know, I think sound design stuff would be really interesting. That'd be, like, those guys do some really cool stuff, and I don't totally understand, you know, how they put all the sound effects together and where they source them from, and using the library and getting them to fit in the space that they need to fit in, because some of it's library stuff and some of it's Foley stuff, and it's really, really interesting, so I think I'd like to try that.
I wish I could draw. I'd animate. Yeah, I'd love that. I think that'd be so much fun.
You're wrong.
I'll be the voice of Big Mac.
Yep.
Pretty easy gig, lucrative.
Can we hear it?
Nope.
All right. What was the hardest non-disclosure agreement that you had to keep, or what do you wish you could have talked about that you couldn't because of an NDA? Obviously, only for
still
things
under
you
an
can
NDA,
talk about.
so it's all the same NDA.
There's always an NDA. There's always an NDA.
Yeah.
You're always under an NDA.
What's that? Toy Street Girls?
It was a long time
Before it was announced?
yeah.
I think it's easier to not talk about something when it's not announced because no one knows to ask you about it. But you know, when there's rumors or expectations of things coming and people are saying like, what's like, you know, when in the past people are like, when's season 8 coming on? We're like, season 8? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I have to play dumb, and I hate that because everyone knows.
All right, this question is for everyone. What character do you think you love more than all the other producers? the show.
All the other producers.
Like, who's your favorite underloved character, unappreciated?
Who do you love more than everyone else from the show? What character?
Who I love more than anyone else in the show?
Maybe a character that deserves more love?
Yeah.
Oh, that deserves more love?
You love this character more than anyone else could love this character. Who is it gonna be?
Who's misunderstood? That's what you mean, right? Who deserves to be loved?
It's a good answer.
I think they all deserve to. It's Stygian, like, you know, with the,
I feel like that's a tough one to answer because
It's-
every character is someone's favorite character.
yeah.
And then I think like they get a lot of the secondary and background characters get a lot of love that even when we put them in the show, we never expected them to get that level of
Yeah.
attention.
Do you have an example of someone for that?
Like some of the characters that in our files don't even have names. It'd be like incidental Ponyville Towns Pony number 3, and then someone would be like, that is Barry Punch, and she has this crazy backstory that you can read about on this website. And it's like, wow, okay. Sometimes.
Do people like Raku? I like Raku.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the only person who cares about those two.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. No.
Another person?
Yeah, there's at least one other person. Probably the person who did her voice.
Yeah.
Who here likes Little Strongheart?
See?
There you
You're
go.
all liars.
Who likes Zephyr Breeze? I feel like Zephyr Breeze doesn't get enough love. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a question. This is a question for Miss May. What's your favorite film?
Oh, good lord.
Miss May's favorite movie thing?
I think it's for Ellie Ray.
Or Miss May?
I think it's for Ellie.
It's for Ellie. Oh Lord, that's too hard of a question. Like, I love it. So many movies, like so many.
What would Sombra's favorite movie be?
What would what?
The Dark Crystal.
The Dark Crystal.
His favorite 80s toy is Crystar. Anyone remember that stupid toy? Yeah.
Favorite drug, crystal meth?
Yeah. Favorite band, The Crystal Method.
Oh.
Favorite 90s R&B, Crystal Water?
Favorite 70s singer is Crystal Gale.
Oh.
Go to you for your favorite.
I don't know. Mary Poppins.
That's good.
That's my one the last one I saw recently.
Is that because secretly you are Mary Poppins?
Who you
I
know
mean-
what? I've been asked that 4 times today.
Are you practically perfect in every way?
I don't show my umbrella. What?
This is a
It's
good one.
secret. There's an NDA out on that.
I assume this is for Jim, but if anyone has an idea, you can go ahead and answer. I like this. Why is Applejack's hat the only hat with a cut in the top of it if she isn't a unicorn?
To convey the style of a cowboy hat. Like to get the shape a little bit more. I don't know, I didn't design her. It's a Lauren question.
Wow, somebody thought of that question. That's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just the way we draw it.
Yeah, I never thought of it as a cut.
No, I thought it was just the shape. Yeah.
Like the shape in like a Stetson hat, just drawn flat from the front, looks like that. Now, is it a cheap shortcut?
Yes. Because, you know, that's what animation is. There's a lot of cheap shortcuts that we do all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that.
To Ellie,
Jesse?
who is your favorite pillar besides Miss May?
Grecian.
Rocco.
Good answer. Good answer. Cool.
I mean, they're all fantastic because they all have different elements, but they're all great. But he's my friend in real life.
All right. we had someone who came up with a question for each one of you.
Oh.
So I'll start with Tony. If you could write an MLP comic of your own, what would it be about?
Oh, you already did.
I've written a couple. I've got one. There's one that I wanted to do that made it almost all the way there and then got shut down. Where Fluttershy, there was like these. She was taking care of these frogs, and then they were like hallucinogenic frogs, like the kind where they have a freak out. And so she was acting all crazy, and Pinkie Pie was like running around partying with her, and Pinkie Pie was like, "This is too much. She is a little too wild for me." And it almost got made, and then they were like, "I don't think we can have the ponies do hallucinogenics. We're not gonna do that." And then there's another one I really wanted to do where Discord has to babysit like shrunken baby versions of all the other villains, so like a little baby Queen Chrysalis. I might still try and do that.
Ellie,
What about, yeah?
hang on. Oh, what is your dream role for a fairy tale that Disney hasn't done yet? I'm gonna make you
And
think.
is there anything Disney hasn't done yet?
The Baba Yaga.
But did they do Baba Yaga? Oh no, that was easy. Yeah, no. Baba Yaga. Oh yeah, but did they
With your chicken leg house, that'd be super cool.
chicken leg house?
The Baba Yaga lives in a house that has chicken legs, and it moves around the forest.
I didn't even
She
know
flies
that.
around-
You're terrifying me
she
right
flies
now.
around in a
I know
pestle.
about the Baba Yaga, but I didn't know she had a chicken leg house.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
It has like weird.
Let's
wooden
do
legs.
I picture
Yeah.
them as giant chicken legs.
I like fairy tales that aren't scary and horrible.
No, if anyone's
Mortifying.
seen some good Mike Mignola drawings of the
Terrifies me.
Baba
I don't
Baba
like
Yaga.
the scary fairy tales. They're very scary. I know, they're terrifying. That- She dies in the original. The Little Mermaid dies in the real story. It's just, oh no, so
They
scary.
just changed it because Seafoam is really hard to animate.
Baba Yaga, that terrified everyone. Like, no, yeah.
And for Jim, of all the characters on Ed, Ed, and Eddie, who do you relate to the most?
Probably Johnny 2x4. I have the same haircut. It's in my hotel room.
Oh,
This one's labeled to artists, so I assume that's Tony and Jim.
Well, Ellie's technically a voice artist.
That's true, but when I get to the question,
And if things don't work out, we might all be sandwich.
I draw outside the lines.
do you have original characters that you like to draw and love?
That's like two questions. I do have original characters. Do I like to draw them? I mean, it's weird. Like the older I get, the more I draw all day. Like I love to draw as my job, but I so rarely sit around and draw just for fun anymore that I feel like I'm not like bummed about it because I do have fun drawing. I just do it for work all day long. So like I have my own characters. Like I have stuff that I work on, and when I'm working on that, I have fun. But it's not like I don't have a character that just like I'm just like I'd like to have fun. I'm gonna sit and draw this character. So yes and no.
Yeah, mine's kind of similar. I mean, I'm sure Tony's thing is similar to mine in that I used to draw to relax when I was younger, and then now it became my career. So it's the same thing. We draw all day, we deal with this stuff all day, and finding time to draw my own stuff when I've used up all my ideas for the show I'm working on, it's hard to come up with something where I want to invest some time into developing it. I have a couple concepts, but I don't really draw them and post them because they're unformed at this point.
There's a lot of guys on like Twitter or Instagram that I follow that they have the same job as me, and then they also just go home and just doodle and have like draw for fun.
I don't know how those people live.
Yeah, I'm real jealous of them. It's wild. They have a little thing going on that I can't even get my head in that place. It's something else.
Yeah.
Unlimited energy.
Or like a condition that they can't stop drawing.
Yeah, or maybe they just have this, like they have shakes, Parkinson's type situation.
Yeah.
They're always moving.
We have a question for Ellie. How hard is it to get started as a voice actor or actress?
Everybody is a voice actor. They just don't bring it to the table. That's the one thing we have. The human connection, communication. We're all capable of it. Everybody thinks it's like, and I get into these big debates about it. Everybody knows characters. Everybody can do characters. Everybody in this room knows how to voice things that they've heard or they like different characters. I've heard yesterday a whole bunch of people doing all kinds of voices. They were awesome. And we all don't credit ourselves to be able to embody a character in a story, whereas we do it naturally all the time anyway, with each other and our friends and our families. And institutionalized training, I don't believe in, because I believe it's inherent to the human condition, which is storytelling. I think everybody can do it, and I think you should do it, because it is the greatest thing in the world to be able to share with humanity stories and change the vibration of the planet. So, hope to see you at a microphone, everybody.
That was beautiful.
Your answers are much better than my answers. For sure.
Yeah, I just trying to make dumb jokes.
Jim Miller,
That's me.
what are/were your thoughts of Twilight becoming a princess?
I don't know, I thought it was fine. I mean, it would have been nice to have more time story-wise to build up to that. I know that was right before, I was the storyboard supervisor in that season, and I know talking with Jason and Woody, who were directing at that time, they really wished that it had been a two-parter, just to try and build up to it a little bit more, because it did feel abrupt. But, you know, when we were working on that, we didn't even know that we were getting a fourth season, so it felt like, okay, well, if this is where the ride ends, what little we knew, then at least it does give a sense of completion to her arc. So that felt fine. And it has proven to be an interesting story point and for storytelling for us moving forward. So I don't know, I never look at those kinds of changes as bad. I look at them as challenges, like how do we justify this change? How do we carry this forward into new storytelling opportunities? Do we actually make the audience care about the change, or does it feel cheap? And that's up to the audience to decide. So, I mean, I know some people still hate it almost 6 years later, and that's fine. You're totally allowed to hate it if you don't like it, and some people love it, and that's fine too. The fact is, whatever, we did our job well enough because you felt something about it. If the opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy. So if you didn't care one way or the other, then that's a failure.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is a question for everyone. While working on the show, is there something that you did a while ago that you might do differently today? In life? I believe it was while working on the show, but I'll allow it for life too. So long as you were working on the show.
That's a much longer panel. We'll be doing that later tonight. I mean, yeah, in season 4, that was my first year directing. I think I could do a better job on some of those episodes having 5 years of directing experience. So my approach to those things would be different, and whether or not they're better is up for the audience to decide. But I think how I would approach them would be with more confidence and more skill. So yeah, you could always go backwards and change something, but I don't want to Lucas stuff anymore. I think once it's out in the world, it is what it is.
Yeah, there's like basically everything I've ever done that you've seen, I would fix 10 things on it if I had the opportunity. Like every time I send something off, like it's done, like the minute after I send it, I go like, oh crap, I should have fixed this or changed that. And so, like like if I had the opportunity, I would go back in and fix everything. But luckily, I mostly have to just move on to the next thing.
I mean, what's the expression? Art is never finished; it's abandoned.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time for us, it's abandoned not because we want to abandon it, but because we have other stuff we have to move on to.
Yeah.
So schedules and deadlines dictate that kind of thing. We could, if I had another year, if I had a year per episode, I could do a great job, make it even more beautiful than it is. But there'd still be things I'd want to change about it.
The first 4 covers I did when I started working on ponies, though, I drew the knees wrong. And nobody stopped me. Nobody was like, the editor didn't stop me, Hasbro didn't say anything, like it just came out, and then like I was like, oh, people are gonna see my pony stuff now, and then it came out and the internet was like, are you stupid? What's the matter with you? So they told me.
I would have gotten on the show sooner. I would have, auditioned for the show sooner. I wasn't in Vancouver really when everything was sort of just starting out. I was there and I didn't really know.
I don't think anyone knew at the time what a big deal it would be.
No, but I would have, like, if I had been in Vancouver, absolutely, I would have been getting right on top of the auditions for that.
All right.
Summer Ponies.
What's something about your job that has surprised you?
Besides this part with all the people?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, for me, it's the fandom. What's surprising is, guys, it's overwhelming because when we're in studios, I'm aware that there's an audience listening to what we're doing. But until you get in a convention and you meet everyone and you speak to everyone, that's surprising because it makes it so palpable for the work that you do, and it makes it so important because you can actually put faces and energies and hearts to why you do what you do, and it really is surprising. That is beautifully surprising. We don't get, or I don't get that opportunity. I have not gotten that opportunity with any other show.
I think we've all worked on things that go out into the world, and not that they're bad, but that they don't connect or people don't react to it in the same way. So
No, and they
this
can
is
win all
pretty
kinds
unique.
of awards, and you just never ever see people, you don't get a fandom like this. You just don't see it. It is a phenomenon, and that is what is so surprising about it, and so delicious. Like, you are delicious. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
For an actual like in production thing, I'm always amazed that we get anything done ever, because there's so many opportunities for this to fly off the rails in a horrible, horrible way. Because there's just, there's over 100 people work on the show, and there's a lot, computers crash and things get lost, and any number of things can happen. And the fact that we deliver a show of a degree of quality for those 26 episodes a year they're 26 little miracles, really. Because just producing anything, it could all go wrong in a heartbeat.
And it's like Hasbro does the wish list too. So another beautiful thing that I got to sort of experience was beyond the show. The Wish List Foundation brings kids in who, are struggling with health issues, and it's their dream to come and watch it.
Yeah, the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Make-A-Wish
Yeah.
Foundation, and they get to come in, and Terry will say, he's the director that I worked with, the voice director, and he'll let the child either direct us or be a voice, like be an incidental pony, and to watch what this does for these kids who also love the show. It's quite miraculous. It's a gift for them, and I think it's a wonderful thing that Hasbro does, and then we all go out with them for lunch afterwards.
We always tell them first that they really should wish to go to Disney World, but then they insist, so I bring them in.
That's awesome.
I was surprised that the show was any good at all. I was very
Oh, thanks a lot.
I was just shocked. Well, so when I decided I wanted to be an artist, I was in high school and I graduated, and I had this friend whose dad took me aside and like he was so concerned for me, and he was just like, listen, if somebody offers you a job, no matter what, you just say yes to it all the time. And I was like, so taken. I was like, oh geez, okay. So I just always did like.
What
my
have
whole
you
life.
agreed to over the years?
Everything. I mean, these people know they commission me for stuff. I've never said no to a single thing. So I just said yes to everything. And then when this book came along, they were like, "Do you want to draw My Little Pony?" I was like, "Yes, I do. I would like to draw." And then as soon as I said that, I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be like a baby show." And so I put it on. And I was like, "Oh, sweet." Also excellent at the same time. So I get to draw this, and it's good. What a delightful surprise. By the way, if any of you want to be an artist, if anyone offers you a job, just say yes to it, no matter what. I mean,
Within reason.
yeah, charge the correct prices for things.
Charge correct prices.
Value
Don't do
yourself.
anything you're uncomfortable doing.
I mean, too uncomfortable.
All right, this might be a little bit of a challenge, but I'm curious to see how we do. What would a cartoon character that's a microphone, what would their voice sound like? Anyone can answer it too. If you think you have a good microphone voice cartoon character.
Let's see what happens when we put them together.
Get on it, Hasbro.
Who wrote that question? Brown.
Probably be a rapper. Yeah. That'd be his greatest fear. I want to know the ones you're rejecting.
Yeah, why are you rejecting?
I bet they're. I mean, if the microphone one got through.
I'm not so much rejecting them. I'm just looking for what's some good talking point. You want me to pick one at random?
Sure.
All right.
Do it.
I am no longer on the hook
Come
for
on,
what
come on,
happens.
it's gonna be great.
Con chairs in the back are
Do
getting
it.
sweaty.
Con
couple in there
chairs
that
are
are
not in the
racist.
room.
This
You
is,
want to pick?
this is officially someone else's fault.
Will we ever see Scootaloo's parents? And if not, why?
But like their corpses?
Who asked that question?
Everyone stare angrily at Jim now.
I can't talk about what may or may not be coming up on the show. They make us sign these things called NDAs, and that's a legal document where they can legally fire me if I ever give out information that they don't want released ahead of time. So you'll have to stay tuned and see if we ever get to it. Sorry.
What do
Sorry.
you think? Do you think you're gonna see Scootaloo's parents? What do you I say yes. I don't know, I didn't sign an NDA for that, so I'm just guessing.
All right, I can pick one.
Yeah.
Do it. Oh, it's scary.
Was it hard to bring? Sorry, I have a hard time with certain people's hands.
Was it hard to bring Derpy back?
Talking Derpy.
Talking Derpy.
No, we just asked Tabitha to do it again, and she did it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think Hasbro changed their mind for whatever reason, and she was just in a script, and we're like, oh, we can do this again? Okay, cool. That was an end of discussion.
I thought there was like it was a little hard decision to do because they were afraid people.
If it was, it wasn't a decision I was a part of, so, yeah.
For the record, these aren't bad questions either. I kept them up here
Yeah.
That's
for
what
a
you,
reason.
that's what you said earlier, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
if I do
you're
some
like
bad
that.
ones, I'm just not answering
I did not.
them.
Very judgmental.
Tony, you want to pick one?
Yeah, Tony, want to pick? I'll come to you.
Pick it.
To Big Jim. Do you read and or write fan fiction? Pony or other?
Well, legally, we're not allowed to read fan fiction, pony fan fiction, because if I read something a few years ago, it got in my brain, and then we did an episode that was vaguely similar years down the road, then there's grounds for you to sue Hasbro, and Hasbro does not want to be sued. So they ask us to not read fan fiction. I don't write fan fiction. Like we were talking about, like working on our own characters. I don't even have time to draw for myself that much, let alone compose an opus about a show I'm not involved in. So I admire the creativity of the people who do. The breadth of fan fiction and fan drawing and stuff that this community alone generates is impressive. Much like Tony was saying about those guys on Instagram that work all day and then go home and draw all night too. I don't know where everyone gets the energy, because I'm an old man and I am tired at the end of the day. So yeah, fan fiction is a bit of a no-go area for me.
You do keep a folder of Ed, Nettie / fiction though, right? Where you ship Ed, Nettie?
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about now.
Sorry.
Really, because I want to go into this a little bit more. Ellie, would you give me a number between 1 and 7, please?
7.
To Big Jim.
Oh.
Were Celestia and Luna born alicorns? And that's from Wendy.
You know, Wendy, we've never actually had that discussion. That kind of level of deep continuity. I think there's a perception that there's been a lot of planned out stuff. Lauren may have had a plan for them about that, but it was never relayed to us when she left. So whether or not the writers get to dealing with that, I don't know. But we've never actually, the same way that we don't know how, whether they actually live on a planet, or how the sun and moon move when Celestia and Luna are incapacitated. You know, I've had some of these real technical astrophysics kind of questions on Twitter. I'm like, I don't know, we just make it do what it has to do for the episode. We've never really gotten into it. I'm sorry, it's not a very satisfying answer.
And what about, okay, so there's Celestia, Luna, and Mist Mane. You
Yeah.
have the floaty mane,
Yeah.
so what does that mean?
That means there's a pony off screen with a fan.
I was going to say, didn't we just address this?
They're all like Beyonce.
Yeah.
How big do you think the ponies are?
How big?
Yeah.
Like in popularity, like big in Japan?
Well, like, I think that they're like the size of a thumbnail.
Well, I mean, we don't have any frame of reference for their reality, so they could be tiny or massive. I think it would be really cool if you went to their world and they're all kaiju.
I think the little, like, that would be my Grant Morrison take on it, that the little is actually the most important part of the title, is that they're all actually very little. Then usually, you didn't know they were little?
Wouldn't it be more of a Shyamalan twist if the Breezies were the actual full-sized characters and ponies were these giant things?
That would be good too.
I think they're as big as your heart will let them be.
To that end, though, Equestria Girls is its own universe too. Could they all be the size of thumbnails?
Thumbnail.
I think of that as being our universe, so they come into our real universe. We just don't live in a magic town particularly.
You ever seen any purple-skinned people?
Yeah, in LA.
That's
Okay.
true.
Good answer.
All right. Someone want to give me a number between? We got 2 more questions added. So can I get a number between 1 and 8?
Tony,
4.
Why did the main 6 take so long to forgive Discord, but they forgave Starlight like way faster? Yeah, what's up with that, Jim?
They're growing, right? What's that? They learn and grow.
yeah, they forgave Discord earlier in the series,
Learned how to forgive.
and then they were like, oh, we should have gotten on top of that a little earlier.
Yeah.
And then by the time they got to Starlight, they're like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
That's a really good answer. I like.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks
Well,
for having me.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
satisfied.
Tony was really helpful in that.
Tony, can I have a number between 1 and 7?
4 again.
4 again.
7-4.
What was Nicole Oliver's reaction to Horseplay?
The episode Horseplay.
She loved it.
Yeah.
How'd you guys know about that?
Talking about the episode Horseplay. She had that's the one where she did all the bad acting, and surprisingly enough, having a good actor do bad acting is kind of hard. You know, she did a fantastic job, but there was a bit of an adjustment at the beginning. Where like, oh, this has to be bad, but I still need to be good at being bad, so it's a bit of a screws with your head a little bit. But it was really funny in the record session.
Point to one.
We're doing fours.
Do you guys have opinions on shipping?
Well, we tend to use Canada Post.
DHL is that Norton antivirus guy that moved to Belize.
Well, if I order stuff from the States, I try not to use UPS because there's a brokerage fee when it comes over the border, and they end up paying more.
I hate it when people use UPS because I don't like to sign for stuff. Just leave it at my door, man. My neighbors are trustworthy.
My grandmother saw the UPS store one day, and she's like, "What's an UPS store?"
This one asks specifically about Flutterdash. Do they have like good rates? Do you know of, or?
I mean, that's a good name for a delivery company. You know, they're fast, but a little bit meandering. So.
Ellie, 1 to 5.
4.
We got some love from number 4.
Yeah.
Are the MLP Books Canon like the one where Cadence used to be a Pegasus, or the one with Scootaloo's ants? Not parents, ants.
We always think, like in the comics for sure, we tend to think of them as being like party canon. They're sort of canon until something happens. Sometimes mistakes were made.
Yeah, I mean, in the show, it's not like we get sent copies of the books or told that we need to follow along with this. So a lot of the times we don't know when a change is made or something is established in the book.
Yeah.
And that's Hasbro sort of controls all the different divisions through the books and the comics and the show. So that's really up to them. And unfortunately, the books are canon until the show says otherwise. It's not the best answer, and it kind of sucks for the people who made those books, but...
I mean, my real answer is that the comics are the one true canon. It sort of goes in and out of canon if they decide to start screwing up.
Good answer. Good
People
answer.
that approve the stuff, it's like the same people look over all the stuff.
Yeah.
But they also don't ever come to like these. So they don't know that you're counting on them so much. They just think they go to work on Monday and then go home on Friday.
I don't think it's like a willful
Yeah.
ignorance. I don't think they want that, but I think that their priorities are a little bit different. And we don't have I was talking about it yesterday to anyone who came to my director's commentary panel. We don't have a single person who keeps track of the timelines for everything. Just, I don't think anyone anticipated that would be a necessity. So there are hiccups on occasion.
I feel like we could just hire someone from this room.
I think there'd be a lot of people who would take that job.
Yeah, right?
Let me just say that the MLP wiki page is very helpful.
Yeah. That's what my editor tells me when I'm like, what? Just so I gotta check the wiki.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Tony pick one.
Probably gonna be number 4.
4.
See, what's funny is in my mind that was number 1, so gotcha.
If you, this is, I guess I'll let this be forever. If you could voice any existing character, who would it be?
They didn't say an MLP though, right?
Oh, that's
I'd like to overdub all of Magnum PI.
Just with your same voice though, that don't do
Hi, I'm
voices?
Magnum. Here to solve the crime.
I'm Magnum now.
You were old Magnum.
Old.
Old.
Got the mustache.
I mean, I guess Twilight Sparkle, right? That would be the best business decision.
Yeah. I'd like to see a version of the show where you are Twilight. Guy
Dear
likes
Princess
Sparkle!
Yes.
Sparkle! Sparkle!
What about you, Ellie? Who would you like to voice?
Jamie Fraser from Outlander.
Oh.
Jamie Fraser. I'm in love with Jamie Fraser.
I was just gonna let you keep going. I wanted to hear more of that.
No, it's that's like, you know.
That's-
I don't watch television except when I go to Vancouver and stay with Tabitha because she has Netflix, and then I binge watch everything.
This one's not a question. I think they just wanted to point it out so that we're all straight. In the episode The Crystalling, the dialogue implies that Princess Celestia and Luna were not born as alicorns, unlike Flurry Heart. So that's the question. Just
It's
that's
more of
open.
a
Make
making sure we
statement,
got that
isn't
right.
it? They were not.
I want more questions like that.
Yeah, we just want fact checking now.
Need continuity, please.
What did we get wrong? Bam. Actually, Ellie.
Yeah. We only got 3 left. There's one of us. Might as well.
Hey, Jim.
Hi.
Hi. Given a chance to LP Generation 5, would you do it if you had a chance?
Oh, if I had a chance to work on a new version, I don't know. I feel like if there was a new version of the show, it probably needs new blood, because wouldn't I just end up doing a lot of the same stuff? You know, like, I think if it does move on, and most shows do at some point reboot themselves, I think you need a whole new.
What do you guys think? Does it need new blood, or do you want it to be?
I want
like
Jim
it is?
forever.
What do you guys
$20
think?
after the
Don't change the species,
I
I
mean-
heard over there.
My Little Pony, featuring dragons.
My little llama.
If you wanted it to be different, you want to at least take like a couple years off, right? So it's-
Ideally, yeah. I think everyone would need a breather.
Yeah, with a completely different perspective, a different take on it. It would be cool if like brand new people tried something and
Yeah.
they come up with. I would still want to work on a comic with that friend.
For Jim, if you could erase an episode from canon, what would it be?
That's rude. I'm not going to answer that. You know, a lot of people worked on episodes that you don't like, and they worked really hard on those. So I think to say this one doesn't deserve to exist is rude to their efforts. So I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah.
To that end, do you think that maybe there was something that might have like closed a door on an idea that you would maybe take back so that it could be explored more?
I mean, there's always things I'd like to do more of. Like I like to do more with the pillars just because I think they're neat. And it'd be nice to do more with the young six because they're cool. But also, you don't want to do that at the expense of the date you brought to the dance. So you don't want to lose the main six in the show. So it's definitely a balance. Yeah, that'd be something I'd have to think about more. Like, did we close the door on anything? It's a fantasy world, and much like comics, if you kill off a character in a comic book, you can always figure out a way to bring them back. So I don't think there's such a thing as closing a door as much as just, you know, having to cut a hole for a different door.
I love that they're all like, so that like the student six, the new six, and the main six, and the pillars, all sort of are existing in the same world now.
Yeah.
I just wish that all the adventures it was like 9 characters, like 18 people at a time.
I don't want to draw that. I don't want to animate that. That season 7 thing when we had the pillars and the main six and Spike and Starlight and Sunburst, like, oh, trying to stage some of those shots is really hard.
I think
But it was
for
awesome.
outsiders, like if you turn on your first episode of My Little Pony and there's just like 18 ponies on screen. What's going on here? Which one's the Twilight Sparkle?
Was there ever like a case when you were putting that scene together where there's just like a frame where you're like, we forgot a character?
Yes. I don't know, if you go back and watch 726, you'll notice in the third act, Spike is just gone. Because, not because we didn't want him, but he didn't have any lines and he didn't have anything in the script to do, so it was just easier to not have him and then try to generate some business for him to do that was just more business on top of already a lot of business.
Did it crash the computer?
Sorry?
Did it crash
The Breezy's one did, for sure. Flash doesn't like having too many characters in a scene. So yeah, that could be a problem. Yeah, nah, not so much because they were very simple characters.
Huh, that's interesting. Do you find it hard to make new characters competing with the world in OCs? I don't know what that means.
I think they're just talking about, who asked that question?
Yeah.
Yeah, just about balancing everyone, you mean? Like,
No, that all of us create OCs. But
oh, it makes it hard to get names cleared by legal, that's for sure. Like someone will say, oh, this is Melody Springs, and then we'll get the report back that says there's 17 Melody Springs fan characters. Please try and think of a new pony name. So trying to come up with new pony names 8 years in can be really hard.
We just in the comics did a Discord adjacent character named Eris, and the minute we got it, I looked it up and I was just like, geez, there seems to be an Eris already, and I wrote my editor and he was like, forget it, just go ahead. Our legal department at comic books is very small.
I have my own question, if I may.
Do it.
That maybe you could probably, mostly for Jim, could speak to. Was there like a difference kind of like with the rating guideline between the show and the movie, that there was like more things they could get away with, or was there?
I don't really know. I didn't work on the movie because the movie was happening at the same time as the end of season 5, all of season 6, all of season 7. So when Jason moved on, someone needed to stay on the TV show, so that's how I got bumped with the supervising director. So I wasn't really involved with those kinds of discussions. I would occasionally bump into Jason and ask him how things were going, and it was very stressful, but I think there are different guidelines between TV and movies in terms of the ratings. I know that they were trying to do more of a PG than a G for the movie, but I don't really know what made that different. Probably the level of action and what they would call violence on the TV show. Like, I know there was a bit more kicking and stuff in the movie. Some of that stuff can be harder to get around, like you can't kick in the face on the TV show. So, yeah.
Well, I think we gotta wrap it up now. Do you guys have anything you want to plug that you're allowed to talk about coming up soon?
I'm doing a mini-series right now called Nightmare Nights that is a bunch of the villains get together and have to face off against a new threat. It's Tempest, Shadow, and Princess Luna, and Stygian. Capper's up in it, Trixie. So yeah, that one's fun. The last issue of that comes out in a couple weeks, and then the collected edition will be out in probably like 2 months. So that's recommended. That's the newest thing I've got going on. Oh, and there's new volumes of the role-playing game, Tales of Equestria, that come out soon, and I drew those. I mean, I just drew the covers. I didn't tell you.
103 NDAs, but yahoo! Love
Fun
Yay!
things coming up.
Love you hard.
Yeah, I got an NDA too, but I've been trying to do this drawing challenge that my friend set up for the month of February on Instagram, where we draw a different robot every day, and he had a list of prompts. So today's prompt was boom, so drew a robot that kind of looks like it's pooping. If you want to follow me on Instagram and see some terrible drawings of
Pooping robots, I can't wait.
yeah, at the biggest gym. That's occasionally I post drawings.
All right. Well, if you guys want to see these three again tomorrow at 11 a.m., we've got the show staff shuffle up. We're going to be doing some crazy fun things with. But that's it. So everyone, give it up for our guest of honor.
Thank you to our moderator. Thank you for all the great questions. Thank you to Andy.
You guys are awesome. We
gathering
love you
questions.
guys.
Now, we got to clear out because I believe karaoke with Tony is coming up in just a little
Karaoke
bit.
with
Yeah, 30
Tony.
minutes.
All right, time going by commissions from Tony in the vendor hall.
Yeah, and we'll see you later on this afternoon in the hallway. Come for hugs and boots.
Come to the acoustic concert. Everybody did good. Oh, don't forget, we already introduced the concept. We're going to have something a little different. You're awesome. In the diver, Odyssey. Oh, yeah, I heard. Well, I decided the camera didn't go too overboard. Ours? We were going in 78 minutes. Yeah. I think most of the time, if I ever do any kind of demo, I would do it for about 4 hours, so I can get everybody's question, everything. Well, I got everything stripped. I'm gonna cut off the camera so I can get the battery there.
So you guys gonna be publishing it?
It's already on my YouTube channel. It just has to go through a process for about an hour and 30 minutes to completely go through the process.
Because I've been doing audio ones because for a while everyone was doing the night.
You know, I have already recorded 2016 17,000 nights, so I already have all the sounds recorded. I got partial pieces of the conference, but basically they had a truck stand right here, so I didn't get it. I like the
What's your YouTube channel?
It's the same thing as yours. I don't ever change my name.
Okay, let me photograph it. And I'll plug it on mine too, that would kind of cross-reference.
And you can try this audio if you want.
Yeah, well, I've been actually recording audio on my phone the entire weekend.
Yeah, I mostly have a really good audio because if I record it with, there's a little microphone where the camera lenses, and then when it does that, it's finished.
Already runs